Episode 4 of the 5th and final season of Samurai Jack finally came after Cartoon Network did us kind of dirty. Even though I like Rick and Morty, that was messed up, man. Let's talk about it, let's review it, and let's see what we've got. Samurai style. Watcha! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy whatever you're celebrating today. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. How is everybody doing today, beautiful geeks? This is your boy Lewis coming to you once again through the Geek Fortress to bring you another Samurai Jack review. Before we get started, do not forget, spoiler alerts if you have not watched this episode yet, we're going to be talking about it in detail and we're going to be discussing what happened in it. So please, if you have not seen this episode, come back later. But with that said, let's get right to it. Right off the bat, I'm going to start saying that this was probably in all the 4 episodes that have come out, this is probably the one that was not the most wow out of them all. This one, it had a couple of wow factors in it, but at the same time, it was just one of those episodes that was, I think its theme was redemption, you know, in a way. But certainly not for Jack, but for who we're about to talk about in a couple of minutes. A lot of symbolism in it, which is good. But most of all, a lot of lines for Samurai Jack. This is one of the episodes where he spoke the most. So we start the episode right after Jack falls off that giant tree where we fell in the episode before, and we see Jack and he remembers how he fell branch. He hit every branch on the way down, and you know, as we said before, this is the lowest Jack has ever been. He's falling down, and he's looking around, you know. And as he looks to his left or his right, I don't remember too correctly right now, he sees that one of those ninja assassins is right there laying with blood, you know? And he's like, crap, so he's staring at it. And then again, we're looking to his psyche a little because the crows start speaking to him saying, you kill her, 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 you kill her. It was some Edgar Allan Poe shit, seriously. The ravens, the crows talking to the man. You kill her, 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 you kill her. So he was like, she was misguided, blah, 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 trying to justify his actions to himself. Because the crows are not really talking to the guy, I don't think they are. But Jack is, again, it's like every episode, he's one step closer to losing his mind. But at the same time, he's still fighting for it. So it's that internal struggle that I've talked to you guys before in the previous episodes that keeps me like, holy shit, what's gonna happen? I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be able to beat his demons that 50 years have put on him, but they're doing a pretty good job at continuing that. Turn around, Jack! The ninja assassin is still alive. She gets up, she throws that sicko-looking thing with a chain, boom. And Jack ain't having it. He's like, oh man, I can't. Boom, boom. He dodges, boom. He ends up reversing it on her and ties her up, you know. And she ends up swinging off a tree back and forth. And then she's yelling at him like, so she keeps yelling at him, and Jack just looks at her and he's like, wow. So as she's swinging back and forth, he looks at her and he's like, you're seriously troubled. That line made me laugh, to be honest, because Jack, it's telling her that she's troubled. It's like, bro, you're talking to yourself 24/7. Hi, Lewis. Kill yourself. And then, I don't know how, out of nowhere, this giant monster comes from the ground. This whole time I thought they were standing on a forest or something. But no, they're standing apparently where this monster likes to do flippies and stuff. Shamu style, you know? So this monster comes and opens his mouth and just starts swallowing them. And even while this happens, this freaking crazy bitch, it's still trying to kill Jack. She ends up knocking herself out. And you know what Jack does? He saves her life. Classic Jack. He saves her life because he still sees the light in people. So he goes in and he saves her life, but they do end up falling all the way down in the freaking belly, or I don't know what part of this monster, probably the belly. But they fall all the way down, so he just keeps falling, you know? And this man is like, I'm free, free falling. All the way down to the belly of the monster, he catches her and he saves her life. First time. Actually, second time. Because he could have killed her when he had the chance before, but he didn't. So that's twice he saves her life. Because that's our man Jack, you know? So they finally make it down here, and he's trying to tell her, you know what, man? I'm not the bad guy here. Aku is the bad guy. You have to stop acting that way. Stop that nonsense. And of course, these bugs that I'm guessing it's like the parasites from this giant monster that they're in start crawling toward them. And then of course, Jack destroys them all. He makes a makeshift sword, which was really cool to see Jack with a sword again, by the way. So maybe it's foreshadowing that the sword's coming back soon. So he grabs one of their legs, were really sharp for some reason, and then he starts cutting his way through. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And he grabs her, chains her up, and puts her on as a backpack, which was pretty cool. It's a backpack of bullshit. And after doing that, you know, Jack gets away. So he puts it down for a couple of minutes, and then we have this moment with Jack again that's talking to himself and to a speck of dust, it looked like. Yeah, my man Jack is talking to dust, or I don't know, whatever the hell that British white ball was. But you know, it was British, it had a sexy accent, why not? And then this lobster-looking animal takes the bitch away. And then, while he's having the conversation with White Robe Jack in his mind, he's like, oh, she just got taken. And then he's like, fuck. So he goes, and then he grabs like this small-looking thing from the bowels of this monster and goes up and rescues her. And of course, the White Robe Samurai version is mocking the crap out of him. You know, he's like, oh, you're going to rescue it, aren't you? And he's like, yep. So he goes and he rescues her again. What's that, 3, 4, 5? Who knows? Who's keeping count, right? They make it out of there, and to this point where they make it out, and it starts like raining needles, like literally raining needles, you know. And then Jack, they have like this weird moment where they both go under a rock, and as they're under the rock, he starts taking off the needles one by one. And he starts taking off her needles one at a time, and then he's like, you know, you would have to pay for this. Some people like to pay for this. It's called acupuncture. Okay, good joke, Jack. But let's focus on kicking ass, all right? Stand up is not your thing. So they keep moving up, trying to find their way out of this monster, and they finally are climbing up, you know. And she keeps trying to sabotage him, you know. She like, hits him in the back of the head, and then they fall back right as they're trying to get there. Oh, and before this, by the way, Jack gets like pieces of like, I don't know, parasite or whatever, who he ends up using as armor. You know, he puts it on, he looks like a green Super Saiyan, I guess, with a little fur on the back, and he's like, I like the fur in the back, you know. So again, stand up, not your thing. So they make it to this area where Jack finally looks over and he's like, oh wow, that doesn't look healthy. And then he grabs one of his armor things and he throws it, and then he's like, it's acid. So he finds that out. So he's like, okay, I got this, bro. I put you on as a backpack. I jump on one of those flying creatures, and then I make it out of here, because he sees that this beast has like a breathing hole, kind of like a whale. So when it opens up, he could see outside that, you know, it's nature. That's the way out. So Jack starts jumping on this one flying thing, really cool. And before this, Jack is like, wow, even in the darkest bellies of beasts, there is beautiful lights. Which, again, it could be very symbolic about the fact that there's still light left in him, and there might still be light and a chance of redemption for this daughter of Aku. Very good, very touchy. High five. Of course, it would be too simple to just get the frack out, you know? So there's this giant fish-looking monster. Again, I don't know what kind of monster this is, because they're inside a belly of a monster, but there's more monsters in it. It's like a world within a world. And like Jack said it earlier, he's gotten out before. He's been, you know, he's been eaten by beasts before, so sure thing, man. Go for it. Yeah. Oh, another thing that it's worth mentioning. Right when he got first swallowed, the daughter of Aku was like, ha, yes, the samurai is dead. And he's like, I am over here. That was just another funny moment. So this episode had a lot of charm and funny moments, but not a lot of action. That's why I think this episode is probably like, it's the fourth, so it is like the fourth best episode, I guess, so far. So there's like this cat and mouse scene where Jack keeps trying to get away from this giant fish monster, and he ends up going into like this jellyfish looking thing, and the jellyfish protecting him for a while, but then the fish that has 6 eyes, 3 on each side, sees him, and he's like, "Oh, you're my dinner, bro." And then Jack goes up on this jellyfish looking thing, and he barely makes it. He jumps out, and he makes it out of the beast through the breathing hole. It's a really cool scene. They explode, they come out, and as they come out of the beast, you know, his armor gets shattered, of course, and then he falls into the water. Once he falls into the water, he's looking for her. She's like, guess what? Let me save her life again. So he looks around, boom, he goes, and he rescues her from drowning, because that's our man Jack. What's that, 19 times? That's not 19, but you know what I mean. So they swim to a nearby island. She's knocked out. Jack goes to the horizon. He sits down, you know. He needs a moment. It's been too long. So he's completely unaware of what's going on. So the woman, the ninja's assassin, gets up, of course, and she looks around and she sees that a piece of the circle conveniently landed in the island. So she's about to go strike Jack, and then a ladybug ex machina flies by. And she remembers that when she was training to beat the shit out of Jack, this lady, who I still don't know, their mother, whatever she is, she tells them, "Oh, there's no time for such things," and she crushes the ladybug, you know? So that's like, you just see like the face of evil almost there. And then you see the same ladybug fly over to Jack, and Jack grabs her by the hand, and then he just lets her go. So this comparison between good and evil makes that the ninja assassin just drop her weapon. And she's like, whoa. So was this a life-changing moment for her? We don't know yet, because that's where the episode ends. Overall, it was a pretty solid episode. Like I said, it's not my favorite one. I do see what they were trying to do, trying to give this girl redemption. Maybe she will team up with Jack, maybe she won't, we don't know yet. We're gonna have to watch it next week. And if you guys saw the sneak peek for next week, we see the Scotsman, so I'm very excited about that. And we see somebody charging to a Geek Fortress, which looks a lot like a page from the comic book that I showed you guys on the first review of Samurai Jack. Even though it wasn't one of my favorite episodes, I still enjoyed it. The visuals were amazing. Some parts you were like, bro, am I in a psychedelic trip right now? Because it looked very light, very powerful. And this is the first episode of all 4 where we can see that Jack is not 100% damaged. He still cares, and he still believes that everything that's happening around is his fault, because he went back in the past, and Aku took over. He didn't do the last blow. He didn't kill Aku, so now Aku killed everything. So redemption in part for him, redemption in part for her, because she, I think, is starting to see the light in the distance. And Jack, of course, even though he's still having troubles with himself, speaking to crows, you know, talking to specks of dust, and also he's freaking, you know, talking to himself again, but it wasn't the evil version, so maybe that's good, you know? It wasn't like the kill yourself version, it was like the I am the samurai version. So that's good. I guess depending on his mood, he gets different, you know, swings. The moral of the story is, if you get swallowed, always look for the blowhole so you can go right out. Very solid episode. I'd recommend it. Not the best, not the worst. Definitely like a 7 out of 10. But hey, part of the journey, right? Definitely a filler episode with some story in it. What do you guys think about this episode of Samurai Jack? Let me know in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen and beautiful geeks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That's a like in Facebook terms and YouTube terms. And turn on that little bell so you get notifications when I upload my next video. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because subscribing is what cool kids are doing. Is what cool kids are doing nowadays, like dabbing. That's the only time you will ever see me dabbing, so take it in, save it, enjoy it. Kids. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. You guys have been awesome. This has been your boy Lewis. As per usual, guys, do not forget to stay awesome. And whatever you do, my good sirs, madams, and little guys, don't forget to geek on. And don't forget to watch Samurai Jack next week. Here are some videos in the meantime, so you can see my pretty face. Until then, adios.